Welcome to HeaKick Audio episode number 60. As you can see, the studio's a fucking mess! We're demoing out for the next album, Cutthroat Gorgeous, I should say, my band. We're demoing out for the next album. We're working track 4 and track 6 of the next record, and they're coming out super dope. So, just running some demos, so if you see equipment and shit, that's because they're going to be here in a couple days. So when we do it in my house, it kind of just stays up. And usually it's not this much, so I'm able to get it out of here. But today is a little too much. Alright? So, of course, in the intro, depending on where you listen, and, you know, when my fucking lazy ass will get to backlogging, you're hearing By the Gods, which is my buddy Jason's band, or you're hearing us, Cutthroat Gorgeous, in the intro if you're listening. Okay, and then of course, always at the end, it's By the Gods. And we can't start a show without talking about a couple things. First of all, my show's sponsor, HK the best damn combat sports gear on earth. That's what I'm calling it. So I call it like I see it. And then of course, we've got the apparels for all of your needs to represent. You can go and use my code HK Audio, I believe is my 10% code. Just go ahead and put that in with your order and you'll get 10% off your entire purchase immediately. Or contact me and of course we'll get your order set up and you'll get my discount and everything. So, and if it's local, I'll make the delivery. That means you get to see me, not on camera. How cool is that? Right? So this is HeaKick Audio, episode number 60, where we're going to talk about LFA 90, UFC Vegas 9, and of course, Dana White's Contender Series. Oh, great week of fights, guys. So, again, this is going to be the set for today. I know it's a little cramped, so I had to make some adjustments, but hey, all is well. Let's go ahead and get cracking on LFA 50. Sorry, 90. LFA 90. The main event was between Lazishvili and Steele for the bantamweight title, which was relinquished by Kenny, I believe, Casey Kenny. And this was a good card overall. Of course, LFA, they got great fights. This is a good launching pad organization to, you know, places like the UFC, Bellator, One Championship, you know, all the big time organizations. So I think this is a good start for most people in their careers. So if you're a young up and coming fighter, you know, of course start local with your amateurs and your local MMA promoters, and then, you know, once you get a few wins under your belt, check out organizations like LFA, CES, Titan, ROC. All those guys are pretty good. I don't want to call them B, but I guess regional works just all the same. And then that'll get you ready for, you know, platforms like the UFC. But LFA does a great job. So we'll get right into it. Tabitha Ricci defeated Kelsey Arneson via unanimous decision, a couple 30-27s and a 29-28. Alan Bigoso defeated Sean McPadden via TKO in round number 1, 48 seconds in. That's all it took. Ignacio Bahamondes defeated Chris Brown via split decision. In your co-main event, Maicon Mendonça defeated Devin Smith via knockout in round number 2. It was beautiful. Okay, and that guy was like on a 3-fight skid. It's completely turned his career around. You know, won maybe 3 or 4 straight. And I think they all may have been finishes. Don't quote me. Don't have the info in front of me as per usual, but I think they may have all been finishes. And then of course, Javad Lazishvili defeated Ricky Steele via rear naked choke in round 1. This was your classic matchup. Okay, this was a grappler versus a striker. Ricky Steele being the Karate Kid, okay, and then Lazishvili being the grappler. Most of his wins were, you know, it was the ground game that got him the win, right? And you know what? I should. Fuck it. While I'm blabbering about this, I'm going to bring up that guy's Tapology, because I saw something floating around on the interwebs, and I just kind of want to verify it for myself, because, like, it would be pretty crazy. Dude's like 13-0 now. I think he was 12-0 going in. Let me see if I can find it. I think, yeah, Lazish. Yeah, there he goes. 13-0 now, with a LFA title to his name. And let's look at the record. Okay, so it's not false. According to Tapology, this guy, up until his matchup with Joshua Huber, all of his opponents were 0-0. And they were all a couple decisions. You got an arm lock, rear naked choke, leg locks. Yeah, so he's got, I think, 3 or 4 decisions on there, but the rest of them are arm locks or chokes. So while the record is pretty, it also looks pretty padded. I don't know. You be the judge. You be the judge. Do your research. Check it out. It doesn't matter. He's got an LFA title, which I think is pretty damn impressive. So that in itself, congratulations to the champ. Okay, moving on. UFC on ESPN Plus 34, or as we call it, UFC Vegas 9, because it's so much easier. Headlined by the big boys. Alistair, the Demolition Man, I believe is his nickname. Overeem versus Augusto Sakai. I don't know if Sakai has a nickname or not, but I don't know. Short card. It was supposed to be a bunch of fights, and it got knocked down to 7 due to some COVID positive tests with a couple fighters. One fighter in particular, there was some, like, I don't know what you would call it, but anyway, Kevin Natividad. Okay, he was supposed to fight Brian Kelleher on short notice because Brian Kelleher's original opponent, I don't remember who it was, they were no longer on the card, so Kevin stepped up on short notice. And if you remember that name, Kevin Natividad, it's because I wrote an article about the Natividad brothers and their performance over at LFA a couple months ago. And, of course, lo and behold, look at who we're seeing in the UFC, Natividad, the older brother, Kevin. Okay, well, in his COVID test, he got a positive result, but his corner all came back negative. So he did the test again, and then it came back negative. So it was a false positive, which I've heard it happening with this whole COVID thing. This is outrageous, right? So the commissions and the doctors and everybody involved decided it was better off to be safe than sorry and just pull Kevin from the card. And Ray Rodriguez stepped up on even shorter notice than Kevin. And this is also a weight class above Natividad. He fights at 35. So, which I believe is the optimum weight class for him. Of course, you know, you're going to take the shot. You know what I mean? UFC calls and says, hey, I need you at 45 tomorrow. Are you going to fucking tell him, no, because I fight at 35? No, you're going to jump on that. You know, and I'm really glad he did, because now he's in, right? He's in. Contract signed. Really looking forward to see that guy make his debut. Him and his brother are phenomenal. Okay? But, so you got 7 cards, so they didn't even fuck around with prelims, or at least to my knowledge, they didn't fuck around with prelims. I think it was just all one long card, right? Hunter Azure defeated Cole Smith via unanimous decision. Hunter, coming back from his first pro loss, who was against Brian Kelleher. He got knocked out in, I think, like the 3rd or 2nd round. I think it was the 2nd round. I think it ended up getting fight of the night, too, because it was a banger, right? So Hunter he's a wrestler that can fucking fight. Right? So I think he fell in love with his hands, and whoa, did you hear that? That was loud. That was fucking loud. You see, my buddy Steve, he's usually got a trainer. I gotta worry about these fucking dickheads with their big ass mufflers. Anyway, bet you the fucking car's a piece of shit. I forgot what I was at. So Hunter, he gets the win. Viviana Araujo defeats Montana de la Rosa via unanimous decision, a couple 30-27s and a 29-28. I feel that if Montana could sharpen up her striking, like if she just, wherever she has camp at, just fucking uproot from there and go to a striking-based camp, she could be a problem for that division, because she's a great grappler and she's fucking tough. She took a lot of punishment from Araujo and didn't go down. So if she could fucking sharpen up her striking, man, I think she could be a real problem for the division. So we'll just go ahead and move on, because Araujo, I feel that this is a fight that she should have won, right? I feel that this is a fight that, you know, I don't want to say it was cherry picked for her per se, but when you're trying to build a fighter, giving them matchups that they should win is something that organizations do, of course. You know what I mean? It's like Gamebred picking Nate Diaz over Leon Scott. Leon Scott isn't a draw. Nate Diaz is a draw. The first fight was semi-competitive between Diaz and Masvidal. The second fight, you know, I don't know. We'll see, because it's going to fucking happen. It's a moneymaker, right? Steve would be fucking fuming right now. Is that the second time I brought him up? That son of a bitch. Love that guy. Brian Kelleher defeated Ray Rodriguez in 39 seconds with his patented guillotine choke. Easy money for Kelleher. Easy fucking money. He's making a lot of dough during this pandemic. He's fighting at featherweight. Okay, he's normally a bantamweight. He's very small. I think he's the same height as me. I mean, I fucking outweigh him by quite a lot, but I'm also not a professional fighter. Yet. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully the wife doesn't see that one. Anyways, Ray Rodriguez taking a fight on short notice, so obviously, you don't want to get the loss in your debut, but he did the organization a solid, so he'll get another fight. He'll get another fight. But Kelleher is just stacking papers and wins during this pandemic, and, hey, kudos to him. Kudos to him. Andre Muniz defeated Bartos Fabinsky via armbar. Now, I went out to go smoke, and I come in, and the fight's already over. Like, I went out during all their pre-fight bullshit and commercials and yada yada, the walkouts, everything, the announcement and everything. And when I came in, it was already over. So, like, how long was I smoking? Because it was a regular size cigarette. I don't know. Anyway, so I had to go back and watch, like, the, what do you call it? Not a flashback. I'm brain farting a day. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how much I'm brain farting a day. I had to watch the replays, the instant replays and stuff. The highlights. There you go. Ooh, the highlights of the armbar, and it looked pretty slick. So good for Muniz, and I think my buddy Richie put $5 real on that guy. So he must have made at least $5 real bucks. Michel Pereira in your featured bout, I guess they call it. In your featured bout, Michel Pereira defeated Zelim Imadev via rear naked choke in round 3. The tap looked suspect, but the performance, mwah. Michel is so much fucking fun to watch. Now that you can see the improvements that he's made on his cardio and also on his fighting style. Yes, it is still, fucking gorgeous. Right? Hit all of his capoeira movements. Like, just watching that guy fucking flow is awesome. Right? But he's toned it down a little bit with all the crazy shit. You still get crazy shit. You know what I mean? He's just not doing backflips every 2 seconds. Okay? But super fucking fun to watch. And he got the finish. Like I said, the tap looked a little suspect, but the guy didn't really fight that decision, that call. He didn't fight that call too much. So me and Ben were saying, yeah, if you're not really fucking talking shit to the rest saying, hey, I didn't tap, then you tapped. Okay, and I, watching the replays, you kind of see him go, and then, the rule isn't you have to tap 3 times. You can literally tap once, you could tap your feet, or you could say, tap. You know what I mean? There are multiple different ways to tap out of a fight. So it doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, and that's, then you're tapping out. No, doesn't have to be that way. Once, a la Chael Sonnen. Yeah, so Michel Pereira, I think he's now like 2-1, 3-1 in UFC. I think his only loss is to, I think Tristan Connolly beat him via decision. I don't remember. We'll have to see. I'll have to look at it. Speaking of which, while I'm yapping about the next one, that's what I'll do. Okay, your co-main event, Ovid St. Preux and Alonzo Minifield, a fight that was rescheduled due to positive result of OSP having COVID. and he said it sucked, but he looked great. He looked great. Now, this is his first fight back at 205 since his one fight stint over at heavyweight where he lost the decision to Ben Rothwell. And then he's fighting Alonzo Minifield, who looked fucking tiny compared to OSP. OSP is just a giant man. He's very big. Okay? And when he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off. He's one of those guys. You know what I mean? It's like the light is either on or it's not. So he fucking clipped Minifield coming in. He was managing distance really well, and I don't think Minifield could find a way on the inside, which sucks because I like Alonzo Minifield. I mean, I like OSP too. I do. But I don't know. I kind of went with this guy on, not this, the corazon, on that pick there, and it backfired really bad. Minifield was on his way in and just got clipped and, you know, sent to the canvas. Like, boom, face first, fight over. And, like, it was a beautiful, beautiful KO, right? But very, very sad to see. It makes me say it. I like Alonzo Minifield. Makes me say it. So, now OSP, you know, JJ, he not champ no more. You know, Johnny Bones Jones. He moved on. He's moving on to heavyweight. And we'll talk about, you know, heavyweight here in a minute. But, you know, 205 is wide open here, guys. You got guys like, you know, OSP, who's got, you know, he's probably like 4th or 3rd in the most wins and finishes in the light heavyweight division. He's fought for an interim title when Jones came back from his fucking whatever. And the dude is exciting to watch. Okay? And he's not hurt, so he can make a quick turnaround. So let's say something happens in one of these matchups where, you know, Maheta or Teixeira or, you know, Jan, I don't think that he could step in directly into a title fight. The UFC would have to lean pretty hard on the interim title fight that he had with John Jones, that he broke his fucking arm in and still went to a decision. How fucking crazy is that? But I don't know. I think, you know, right now is the perfect time to be a light heavyweight with a win, at least one win, especially if you're in the upper echelon. Which I'm not saying that fucking OSP is elite, but now with John Jones not in there, he could fucking make a run. Alright? Now let's talk about motherfucking heavyweight, okay? Because in your headliner you had fucking Alistair Overeem, a guy who's been doing it since I was a fucking kid, okay? He took on Augusto Sakai, who's a kid, right? Now this is basically the old lion versus the young, hungry lion, and Overeem seriously leaned, and he's been doing it for a while. I don't know if y'all picked up on it, but Overeem, he's been leaning on that fucking veteran experience when he's fighting these young cats. Like there was Sergey something or other. He fought that dude, impressive, 12-0 or 13-0, something like that. Come in with fucking a bunch of fucking finishes from another organization. And we were really excited for this guy, and he made his debut against Overeem, and Overeem smashed him. Okay? Well, Sakai, I think his only loss was to somebody else in Bellator or some shit like that. On a 5-fight streak coming into this, all in the UFC. He had wins over Arlovsky, he had wins over... Who else did he have wins over? Shit. It don't matter. It don't matter. Who was I looking at? Oh, Michel Pereira. But, you know, this was a good fight. It looked like the first 2 rounds, Overeem's age was showing. You know what I mean? He was a little bit slower. He was, you know, mostly defense in the first couple rounds. It was mostly defense. Both guys, great Muay Thai practitioners. So there was lots of knees, lots of elbows, lots of clinch, beautiful stuff. I like that stuff. Okay, I'm not one of those guys where if it's competitive up against the cage, and if it's competitive on the ground, I'm all for it. But if guys are just laying on each other and they're not really doing much, you know, to advance or to do damage, then of course you turn into one of those guys that just bleed, right? But if it's competitive and you're seeing stuff, and that's the thing, a lot of people don't pick up on those small, subtle little fucking things that us hardcores pick up on. So we can watch a fight that's, you know, solely takes place on the ground and be thoroughly entertained, as opposed to, you know, some guy they see it hit the floor and immediately they're just like, oh, he's scared. He don't want to stand up with him. No, look at his fucking jiu-jitsu. Look what he's doing to that guy's fucking knee. Do you not see that? You know what I mean? It's, some people don't like pretzels, and it shows. All right, so Michel Pereira. Oh, no, he had. When did he fight Diego Sanchez? Anderson versus Blachowicz 2. I was probably too high on Blachowicz' KO to even fucking remember that. But he had a knockout over Danny Roberts. Then he lost to Tristan Connolly via unanimous decision. And then he's got a DQ loss to Diego Sanchez from an illegal knee. I'll have to use my Fight Pass to see what the fuck that's all about. I don't even remember him fighting Diego Sanchez. Huh. Anyway, back to Overeem and Sakai. So, anyways, the first couple rounds, it looks like, you know, Overeem is just going to get out-cardioed, maybe outgunned by the younger, faster, stronger, yada yada, right? It looked like it was going to be that kind of story. And then, at the end of the third round, and most of the fourth round, you see, you know, Overeem start to do some veteran shit because he's noticing that the guy's fucking slowing down, kind of taking advantage of the guy's loss of cardio. Overeem, he wasn't, you know, extreme with his output, and most of his, you know, striking was a lot of defense, so he wasn't taking the kind of punishment where if he would land good against Sakai, Sakai was taking it, right? But Sakai, dude, that guy's got a fucking chin, by the way. He took some solid shit from Overeem and didn't really look that bothered up until the end there. But right at the end of the fourth, Overeem drops down for a single and kind of just like trips him over himself and gets on top and starts doing damage. Right at the end of the fucking fourth round. And, you know, in our little thread on Twitter, because I'm in a couple chats, one of the guys was just like, man, I had him, I picked KO round 4, and he probably could have got it done, but I think, you know, fuck. You know, he's getting fucking beat up for 3 rounds, and he's probably pretty tired, but that was the fucking light bulb, right? Now Overeem's thinking, holy shit, if I could fucking take this guy down and just get on top of him, A, he can't really hurt me, and B, I can really fucking land some devastating shit. So that's exactly what he did in the beginning of the fucking 5th round. Pushes old boy up against the cage, grabs that fucking awkward ass single, throws him to the ground, gets on top of him, and lands right there at the end. 3 fucking solid elbows, straight to the fucking side of the head. Dude turns over, and ref is like, like that is a sign for refs. Like if you're turning away from damage, you know what I mean? They're thinking like that's your natural reaction, so they're gonna call the fight, whether you're in or you're out. You know what I mean? Safety comes first. I understand that. I really don't disagree with the stoppage because those fucking elbows were scary. Okay? I don't want to take not even one of those. I don't want to think about taking one of those because I just don't want to do that to myself. Okay? I value my brain health. It's the only one that I got, and it's not very good. So, Alistair Overeem, TKO, round number 5, less than half a minute in. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. You know what I mean? But you're seeing Overeem out-veteran these young up-and-comers. You know what I mean? Sakai had like maybe fucking 20 fights. You know what I mean? So he's not a newbie. But first main event against a guy like Alistair Overeem. I mean, that dude's seen some shit, bro. He's seen some shit. That was dope. So let's go ahead and move on to, let's see how much time I got to talk about the Contender Series. Okay. Not that much. That's okay. We'll get to it on Dana White's Contender Series, which took place yesterday. Now you're seeing this. It was 2 days ago on Tuesday. 4 contracts given out. And then, of course, they're doing a Contender Series in November, which I'm super fucking happy about. So I might actually keep my shows on Wednesday. So what happened was, I'll tell you real quick why you're getting the show a day late. I wasn't feeling well yesterday. I wasn't. And I can't shoot the show from, you know, my bed because that'd be fucking weird. So that's mostly what I was doing. I was laying down. It was just, it wasn't good. I wasn't feeling well. I'm not really feeling any better today I feel good enough to do this, right? I can't give you guys the same energy that I usually do, so I'm sorry if the show comes off a little flat. My bad. But Dana White's Contender Series, it's on Tuesday, so I shoot my show right after Contender Series. Usually, if I'm not, like yesterday, right? So I moved my show to Wednesdays instead of Mondays because I used to just shoot right after the UFC card or Bellator card or whatever was happening that weekend, and then I'd release it on Monday. Well, I switched it up for Contender Series because I want to include Contender Series, like the most recent one, in the show and not be like, a fucking week late because that would suck. So you may have heard a lot of these takes being given already, but you listen to my show so you like me, doesn't fucking matter. Okay, and I love all y'all. Even the fucking ones that don't like me. Think I give a shit? Come fight me. Okay? Come fight me. Elias Cobb Kizriev defeated Enrique Shugimoto. Submission, round number 1, rear naked choke. Pretty fucking easy, pretty fucking quick. And I'm going to have to learn how to say this guy's name because he's fucking scary. Okay, he's fucking scary. Not as scary as the guy in the main event though, but pretty fucking scary. And I like his fighting style. He's very in your face. Don't give a fuck. He'll take one to give one. Okay, and then Draco Rodriguez defeated Mana Martinez via technical submission and a triangle choke. Now look, this triangle choke was in for a long time, and Martinez did everything he could to stay in the fight. Now, unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles in this game. Both guys were 6-1, and it turns out this Rodriguez guy was already on the UFC's radar. So, and look, Martinez is young. He'll come back, okay? He's from a solid camp over at Metro Fight Club. I know a lot of those guys over there, some killers. Jacob Silva, fucking Giannis, fucking Adrian Giannis, who's always on my fucking show, okay? So I know the boys down there, and I know they do good work. So just give this guy maybe, another year or two, and he'll be right back. No questions asked. But Draco Rodriguez did look pretty fucking good. He was trying to throw up the armbar, I believe it was, and transitioned into the triangle choke. And couldn't have worked out any fucking better. Like I said, it looked like Mana was going to be able to get out, and if so, who knows how much Rodriguez blew out on his legs, but it paid off. So, he didn't look too bad, though. He was walking out of the cage, not wobbly or nothing. So, I think he knew what he was doing. I think he was getting a UFC contract. So, good on him. Phil Haas defeated Kadzi Bestiev via TKO in round number 1. Now, Phil Haas I think he tried out for the Ultimate Fighter. He's been on the Contender Series before. He's fought for Bellator. He's fought for LFA. The guy's been around a while, and I think this was the performance that he needed to, kind of set himself apart from his past, right? Because this dude was supposed to be the next fucking guy. He was like 4-0, and then he just, he stumbled a little bit. I think this was good for him. Getting a win over Kadzi Bestiev, who, if I remember correctly, was like 6'6" at 185. That's fucking nuts. That's like some straight up fucking Spider. Shit. Kendall Grove. That is some Kendall Grove shit right there. Okay? Which I think Kendall's got a bare knuckle fight coming up. That should be fucking dope. Shout out to the boy Hawaii Team Promotions. They do good work and they fucking represent their fighters very well. So he's getting a tag on this shit. Because he's the one that told me. He's the one that told me that he had a fight coming up. So stoked on that shit too, buddy. Anyways, Phil Haas defeats him via TKO in round number 1. Like I said, definitely needed this. Sherrard Blackledge defeated Cameron Church via unanimous decision. A couple 30-27s and a 29-28. In what was a fucking slugfest. It was a fun fight. You saw Blackledge kind of lean on his wrestling in the third, which I don't really think he was a wrestler. His boxing looked real good. His kicks looked real great. Fucking threw everything but the kitchen sink over at Church. And I just think, The win is obviously the most important thing, and if you got to go to your wrestling to get the win, because you don't want to get tired and get KO'd. Church was fucking eating everything the Blackledge was throwing at him, so you know what Dana's looking for. He's looking for finishes. Okay? He's not looking for a guy that's leaning on his wrestling to get a win in this Contender Series. So maybe the Contender Series isn't the route for some of you fighters out there. You know what I mean? Because your record is more important than being exciting sometimes. You know what I mean? You can be an exciting fighter, but also get decisions and stuff. You know what I mean? It's possible. But just that's not what this show's about. This show is Dana White looking for the next contender. He's looking for the next killer. You know, he's not looking for the next superstar. All right? So he invited this kid back for November, this Blackledge kid, and hopefully he said yes, and he comes back, and you know, he was impressive enough to earn a fucking an invite back. So that's saying something. And both guys were only like 4-0 or 4-1, some shit. Very little fights. A lot of these guys on this episode have very little fights. Okay, and that was your co-main event, and then your main event, COVID. What the fuck? Did I really just say COVID? Tafon Chukwi defeated Al Matavo via knockout highlight reel. It was via HeaKick. Now, look, HeaKick audio. That is what I am. This is right up my fucking alley. And this fucking guy, Chukwi, he's a beast of a man. He is fucking scary. He's got a fucking charisma to him that should get people interested. If that knockout doesn't do it for you, this guy's character, you know what I mean? Like, I'm already fucking high on this dude. And to be honest with you, never fucking heard of him. I'll be honest with you, I've never fucking heard of either of those dudes. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect. Really, a lot of these Contender Series, like, I've never really heard of a lot of them. And that is because I don't watch a lot of fucking overseas promotions. I don't watch One, I don't watch Ryzen, KSW, yada yada. I haven't figured out, like, A, I don't know what fucking platforms they're on, and B, timing wise. You know what I mean? Maybe my guys in my threads can help me out there to figure out timing, but because I'd love to watch. I love watching MMA all day, every day. But this Tafon, I don't know if it's Tafon or Tafon, okay? But Chukwi is a bad motherfucker, and now he's only 4-0. Okay, he's only 4-0, but I think if he doesn't get the contract, he's chasing Dana White down, and he's gonna scare the living shit out of him and change his mind. You don't know what's in my drink, but I do. Anyways, I appreciate y'all sticking around for a couple minutes of overtime with me. Again, I apologize for the charisma. I apologize for the fucking set mess. But hey, you know, we got to do work too. You know, this isn't just my podcast studio. This is also my jam studio. This room does a lot. It wears many, many hats. But I'm going to go ahead and get the fuck out of here. I hope you guys have a great week. Like I said, intros, you got Cutthroat and you got By the Gods. Outro, always Gods. And then, boonk, the sponsor, HK USA, the best combat sports gear on earth. Okay? I was wondering at what point in time that was going to happen. But it's all good. It's all good. Oh, and then check it out. Bink! His newest episode has Canadian Bellator fighter Josh Hill. Shout out to Combat Sports with Rhino and Drea. So, peep that shit. Peep this shit. I'm going to go fucking work on the image for this thing. Like I said, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for sticking around for a couple extra minutes with me. Again, if you want the gear, go hkusa.com. Place your order, put in HK Audio for your 10% off, or if you'd rather get a hold of Moa, just hit me up and we'll work something out for you, okay? So until next time.